Український кризовий медіа-центр продовжує свою роботу, і наразі ми розпочинаємо брифінг Єгора Стаднього, експерта аналітичного центру CEDOS, який презентуватиме щорічний
expert at the CEDOS Center, Yegor Stadnyi. Yes, we are here today to tell about our research, the research of how our universities are open and transparent. But first of all, I would like to thank the Renaissance Foundation for funding that research. Why? What is the reason? Why have we done this rating, this monitoring? We all know that the reform of higher education started in Ukraine. One of the main components of the reform is providing more independence and more powers to the universities. And the team of CEDOS Center, understanding that this reform has both positive things and risks, we started monitoring to what extent our universities, autonomous universities, to what extent are they ready to open, to provide information about themselves, to be transparent. Now, our rating has covered 96 national universities, almost all national universities. We did not include law enforcement universities and those that moved we changed their location because of the war. So these universities cover more than 8,000 students. These are universities which are the biggest, which in accordance with their status are to demonstrate the highest quality of education. What did we include? I will show the website where there is all the methodology. We measured about 40 components. Accessibility of information. And we were looking at the websites of the universities. These 40 components could be divided into 4 categories. The first one, which is so important for the applicants, is how the universities inform about their programs, how they describe the disciplines. Do they mention the skills? Who teachers, who is, what is the system of the assessment. We did not we did not include when they were writing that we are offering some training, but we were looking at what organizations cooperate with the university in order for the students to have training. In this component, we were looking at who publishes information packages. That is the general requirement of Bologna process. That is the information package which should have the main information about university. It has to be duplicated in English. The second component is financial transparency. So the cost, the budget that university is planning to spend, the report on the expenses, the salaries for the professors, for teachers. Also, we were looking at whether the university publish information about public procurements. information about training, whether it's in English or not, the information about additional services for which you have to pay. That is the information which is possible because of corruption threat to financial independence of the universities. Besides, our universities lack understanding that financial transparency and openness can be used for your benefit, competing for the money of foreign donors, for competing for the applicant. The administrative transparency is the third component which we were measuring, what we were looking at. Whether at the websites they have information about regulations, we were looking at which universities publish their statutes, and we we're looking at where we can learn about the rights and responsibilities. Also, this component included the information on their managing boards. We do not know who are the members of the scientific council, for example. Also, it was important whether the vacancies are announced, to what extent the universities publish the information about vacancies. And the fourth component, the last one, the strategy of the university. We wanted to look at how universities are planning their future development, and we were looking at the content of the strategy, whether it covers such things as ensuring quality, personnel development, infrastructure development. And we were looking at whether it covers specific objectives, measures, and indicators for measuring whether the result was achieved or not. Now I will talk about the results. I would like to inform that the first three universities in our ratings are not from Kiev. So basically, the winner of the rating is the National University Lviv Polytechnica. They got 71.3 points out of 100. The second, Kharkiv National University, named after Karazin, and the third one, Ternopil National Technical University. Basically, the 10 best universities include Lviv University, named after Franco, the fifth one, Kiev National Shevchenko University, the fourth, KPE, the seventh, Lviv National Medical, eighth, Prikapathian, ninth, Khmelnytsk National, and the Kiev Mogila Academy. What was the purpose besides looking at how open our universities are? Another objective for our rating was to show what best practices of transparency exist in Ukraine. We often say that, forgetting that in Ukraine there are own good practices, but we managed to find them. The leader of our rating, Lviv Polytechnica, has one of the best catalogs of courses, of disciplines, where you can find all the information that I mentioned. the description of what is envisaged by the discipline, who teaches, the topic, and so on. That makes it easier for the students to choose some course. Besides that, such components as the description of educational programs, they are extremely important for the process of ensuring quality. A week ago, the ministers of education of European universities of European countries approved in Yerevan the new standards of quality, where one of the 10 items is the publicity of information, and also that is important for all stakeholders. It is important to understand where the students learning. And also I would like to draw attention to the Parisian National University. We found during the research that even though the Zaporizhian University is low in the rating, but the way how these programs are reflected in the university, it's very well presented. There's a catalog of courses which is in internet. We also see some of the universities which keep such catalogs closed. Only when you log in at some site you can see it. But we would like to emphasize that such catalogs are to be in open access. But the role of the applicant has become bigger because the state money will go for the applicant. So it depends on where the money will be sent. This depends on the motivation of the applicant, and in this aspect the information about what disciplines are offered, this information is very important. Now the site dedicated to this rating, which you can see, and I would like to show you the credit. It's again another rating. Here we see the Lviv Polytechnica, Medical, Ternopil, Pedagogical, Khmelnytsky, and Zaporizhsky. And also there's one separate component, how complete is the description of the programs. And here you see Lvivska Polytechnica and Zaporizhia National University, 26 and 24 points out of 26 possible. Now, the next one is administrative transparency. Here we were measuring, I will not repeat it, but basically I would like to show you which universities in this component are leaders. The information on the activity of the administration of the university is best presented by Kyiv-Mogila Academy, Kamenets-Podilsky National University, and Ternopilsky National Puli University. The financial transparency Uh, so looking separately at how many out of 96 universities publish the statute on their website. The statute you can find only on the websites of 45 universities. That's little less than half. Most do not even show their main document. 17 universities publish provisions on the Scientific Council, 57 out of 96 publish the composition of the Scientific Council. Only 20 universities publish announcements, publish vacancies. That's important aspect because that is a key one for competitions for vacancies. It's of key importance. If people do not know that there's a vacancy in the university, they wouldn't submit their documents and there will be no competition there. That is very important, not just for the transparency, but so that the teachers who are on occupied territories could find information in the internet about where they can go and where they can find job. Out of 96, only 20 published such information. The report of the rector of the university is also a very interesting document. Out of 96, only 18 published the report of their head, talking about financial transparency. Financial transparency. I will again mention similar data. The report is the requirement on and the of the university. 27 universities duplicate information about the cost of the education. So basically, do we need to explain the information in English? Do they believe that it is important? On the additional services, only 7 out of 96 publish information about additional services. Talking about strategy, the maximum 18 points that we were given only to 4 universities: Lvivsky, Franco University, National Mining University, Carpathian National University, and Kharkiv National University. In fact, these universities have strategies which are well developed, and the need of why the strategy is needed. It is for students to understand where the university is developing, what's expecting them, why certain policies are adopted, and so on. So, I will stop on that. Maybe you have some questions. Please look at the website. There's methodology. You can see it on the website address, and there's methodology of how we were calculating the points. I know that it is very important for rating. There's a brief explanation about rating. There's FIQ on the website which explains what this rating is, what this rating cannot be, and also the table with the results of the rating. Do you have any questions? Social Country TV channel, you said that most universities did not get even 50 points. How does it affect students and the applicants? We would like it to influence. We were doing this rating for the applicants to understand which of those universities provide enough information so that these applicants can make the choice. And we understand that the role of such ratings, we will not stop this year. We will continue such ratings, and we hope that the rating of them will grow. Any other questions? I have a question. Do you get any feedback from the rectors as to the results of the rating? We don't have any feedback yet. We are now organizing the presentation. There will be several round tables held, but another component of the rating is the development of recommendations for each university, for each of 96 universities, to improve the policy of informing the students and professors. Another question, if you sum it up, you worked with a huge amount of information. What are the weakest points in our universities, talking about disclosure of information? The weakest one is financial information. We received signals that some universities on their websites publish not complete documents, the documents which are slightly corrected. But I would like to say that the presence of such information creates the possibility at least to compare it with something. Of course, I would like to mention what is our rating and what it is not, but this information is the basis to stop corruption, to discover corruption. When you were collecting information, is there understanding that the rules of games have changed, that the money followed the student now? I would like to mention that some universities realized that before the reform. And these leaders of the rating, we would like again to emphasize them. These are the universities which understood even before the new law on higher education that the component of transparency is very important. To receive the applicant of better quality, so that relations in the university are based on formal basis, not on such things as nepotism. I would like to wish you that this rating, this research becomes a real instrument which would help the universities to improve their cooperation with those who they provide services to, so that it's not just the PR element. Thank you, and I hope that we will have some roundtables in the UCMC and we'll